welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our die set layered butterflies, so let's go ahead and check it out. This die set helps you create a large and small butterfly, both front-facing and also side-facing. So you can do two different styles and two different sizes. So right here we have the largest butterfly, and you could use the butterflies without the wing detail and just have the base, or you could use the wing detail without the base, or you can layer them since they are the layered butterflies. Then here we've got that beautiful butterfly, and then we have a butterfly body that goes right in the center, just like that. And we're going to repeat the same thing for the front-facing butterfly here in the smaller size. So we're going to layer that butterfly frame on top and then add that cute little body. And now you can see what these two butterflies look like. To create the side-facing butterfly, there are two ways to do that. One way is to just trim that butterfly and cut it right down in the center. And another way is to create a score line right in the center and fold the butterfly. The cool thing is the side butterfly has a different style of body that's facing towards the side. So you can add some liquid glue and layer that side-facing butterfly onto the butterfly that we cut in half. I trimmed off that one antenna, and then now I can add a little liquid glue in the back, and the die set comes with antenna that you can layer on just like that. Now for the one that we've folded in half, you can layer the body on, but that one actually has two antennas. So what I do is I just kind of move those two antennae apart from each other. So you're going to see me do it right there. I'm going to kind of move them apart, and now you have the two antennae with the folded detail. And the folded one's kind of cool because it looks three-dimensional, but if you want a flat look, you want to do the one that's cut in half. And we can do the same thing with the smaller butterfly. So we can cut it in half, or we can create a score line down in the center, and we're just going to fold along that score line. Then once again, we're going to add that side-facing body, and we can take those antennae and kind of separate them apart from each other. So now we've got the front-facing and side-facing in the two different sizes, and these are just so pretty and gorgeous. You can play around with colors and just have such a blast with them. First, we're going to be recreating a card by Audrey that has a really cool inlaid die cut technique. And we're going to be using the spring fling paper, and we're going to take out the pink floral, which is the Debbie paper, and we're going to be trimming that down. And we're also going to be adding that to a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to die cut some white cardstock using the stitched windy backdrop, and we're going to trim off the edge of this because we want some of that pink paper to show through. So we're going to trim off about 1/2 inch. Then next we're going to take both of our butterflies and we're going to lay that onto that stitched windy backdrop. And we're going to be die cutting those butterflies because we want a butterfly shaped opening in this piece. So we're going to hold that in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now you can see that we've got some really pretty white butterflies, and we also have the butterfly shaped opening, which is really, really gorgeous. Now what you'll see is we're going to put some tape runner on the back and layer it, and now that beautiful pink paper is going to show through, and I just adore this look. Next up, we're going to take some of that gold sparkle cardstock, and we're going to trim a little piece about 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch there wide, and we're going to add that along the seam between the white and the pink paper. And I think that's so pretty, and I really love the mix of gold sparkle with the pink floral. It really feels really kind of springy and somehow summery all at the same time. We're going to trim off the excess of that piece, and then we're going to die cut the butterfly frames there with some white cardstock. And we're going to be laying those into the die cut. So we're going to be inlaying it so that it has the detail, but the whole card is completely flat. And I think this is such a pretty, just elegant look. So we'll add some little liquid glue on the back of the larger butterfly and also drop that in. And I love seeing that pink floral come out from behind the butterfly wings. Pattern paper looks so pretty on there. So we've die cut this stitched banner here. This is from the Fancy Wavy Banners, and we're going to stamp Feel Better from the Wavy Saying stamp set in some guava ink. And then we're going to add some foam squares onto that, and we can layer that onto the card and just trim off any excess. And for a little extra sparkle, we're going to be adding some sequins on. So we added some liquid glue directly onto the card, and then we're just going to drop different gold sequins right onto the card. And you can see just how pretty that is. It really adds a little extra whimsy and sparkle and shine. The last finishing touch is to add the butterfly bodies on there. We've die cut those from some white cardstock too, and we're just going to layer those on. You can see how that really finishes up the card. You can do it without the little butterfly bodies on there, but I really like the look of the whole thing layered. And now the card is all done. I love that you could make this same card with all of the different colors of flower paper from the spring fling paper, and it would be so pretty to have a whole rainbow set of these cards and give them as a gift. Now, speaking of rainbows, we're going to be creating a rainbow watercolor wash. So I have my water there and my paintbrush and a watercolor set here. And we're going to be going through the whole rainbow, starting off with kind of this pinky red. So I'm getting my paintbrush wet and then going into my watercolor and just picking up a little bit of that color. We'll then go through the colors in rainbow order, and we're going to overlap the edges there so that the two colors mix together. So you'll see as we overlap the edges, it really creates that seamless blend between the two colors. And we're just going to work our way down. And I'm definitely not a watercolor expert, but I feel like I can always make a rainbow color wash that looks really, really pretty and just makes me smile. So now that that's all done, I'm going to dry it with my heat tool because I am not a patient person. And now I have this beautiful rainbow watercolor wash to work with. So I'm going to take that large and small butterfly, the frame portion of it, and we're going to die cut a bunch of them out of some black licorice cardstock. And I'm going to be taking these butterflies and layering them onto the card to create a really cool background. So right now I'm just playing around with this whole butterfly layout to make sure that I cover the whole entire thing with the butterflies. So I'm just going to play around with it and get it in perfect placement, and then I can start to add liquid glue behind each butterfly and layer them onto the card base. So I love how it's almost looking like I've created an entire background die by using these individual die cuts. So I'm going to add little drops of glue with my glue tube onto the butterfly and start layering them onto this beautiful rainbow watercolor. This technique would look really great on pattern paper or even colored cardstock as well. Once we have all of the butterflies layered onto the cardstock piece, we're just going to trim off any of the excess. You can see there I'm filling in that last little area with just the edge of the butterfly to make sure that there's butterflies all over this whole thing. And then once we start to trim off the excess, the whole background really starts to take shape. So I think it looks so cool as you start to trim off these pieces, and I find trimming off these pieces really fun. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about when you try this, because as I trim them off, it's just really fun to see them kind of fall right off. I'm using an adhesive remover here just to remove any extra liquid glue that might have seeped out from under the butterflies. And now I'm going to take that stitched fancy wavy banner, die cut it with some white cardstock, and we're going to use that wavy saying stamps it again, which is one of my favorite new sets. And we're going to kind of pick through any of these, and honestly any of these sentiments would work really great with this card, but I'm going to do love you lots because I think that goes with a lot of different kind of occasions. So we're going to add that on with some tape runner, and then once again, to go along with the butterflies, we're also going to trim off the side of that banner. So I really like the look of everything being trimmed off of the edges, so it looks like the pattern keeps going and going. Then we're going to layer that onto a standard size card base 5.5 by 4.25 out of some black licorice cardstock, and that frame just really makes the whole thing. And this card just makes me smile. Now I wanted to show you another version I made of this card where I double layered the watercolor. So I watercolored the same way, and then I just did the same colors over top to really make the watercolor nice and bold. And in this case, I started purple at the top and went red at the bottom, so you can really play around with different ideas. So now we're going to be recreating a card by Ellen that's really, really cool. So we've got some of the really rainbow scallops paper, and we're going to layer that onto a standard size card base. And then we have a piece of white cardstock, and we have a hillside border. So this would normally be for a hillside, but we're going to use it totally different here. We're going to die cut it from the side of the cardstock to give this really cool wavy texture. We're also going to take the largest butterfly and we're going to line it up right with the edge there, right with that curve, hold it in place and run it through the die cut machine. And now we're going to have a butterfly shaped opening that goes along with that beautiful curved edge from the stitched hillside border. We're going to die cut the base part of the butterfly from some of the spiffy speckles paper, and you're going to see how that'll fit right in. And then we're going to take that white piece that we've been working on cutting and we're going to layer that onto the card base. Then we can go ahead and drop that butterfly in. So we're going to just trim it off right in the center, and we're going to be able to just inlay that pink butterfly piece. Now this white butterfly frame piece, this is the piece that we had left over from cutting that piece with the wavy border on it. So we're just going to trim off that antenna, and then we can layer that butterfly piece on. We're only going to add liquid glue to the very edge so that that butterfly is going to be kind of popped up from the base, and it's going to be a really pretty kind of three-dimensional look. So once you have that glued down, you can kind of pop that butterfly wing up. Now for the body of the butterfly, we've die cut it from that same pink spiffy speckles paper, but we're going to ink it with some guava ink to kind of darken it up and make it pop out from those two really kind of subtle pink pattern papers that we have on there. So we've added that ink. We can add some liquid glue and then layer the butterfly body right along the edge. And this is the side facing body here. We can also add the side facing antenna too, and that's going to drop right into that die cut as well. Now here we have a strip of that gold sparkle cardstock again. So we're using similar ideas from the first card to create a different type of card here. So I love being able to use ideas that we thought of in the past and also incorporate them onto new cards. So it's really fun. It also looks really nice to see them all together maybe as a little card set. Now these tiny butterflies are from our spring add-on for our shadow box card. And so we're going to use these tiny butterflies cut from that same pink spiffy speckles paper. We're going to kind of bend them right in the middle and add a little liquid glue in the center. And these are going to be little decorations, almost like little sequins. They look super, super pretty. So it's fun to look through your die stash and see what you've got. And then here we have some manatee ink, and we stamped a butterfly tray from the Butterfly Kisses stamp set. We're also stamping the sentiment "Sending Butterfly Kisses" from that same stamp set in some clear sticky ink, adding some white heat embossing powder, and we're going to heat that up with the heat tool so that we have a nice bright white shiny sentiment. And we're just going to trim right along that, add some foam squares to the back, and we can layer that right onto the card. And I love the mix of pink, black, white, and gold. It's a beautiful color combination. And now this card is all done and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love that scallop paper on the right hand side. Now we have some gorgeous cards by the design team, and this card by Elise is so sweet. She used all the different spring colors of the sparkle cardstock to create a beautiful rainbow butterfly card. I love this card by Megan and that beautiful shiny shimmery detail she created. And on the inside she put the pop-up butterfly, which is such a great match to these layered butterfly dies. Here is the card by Elena that inspired us to make ours today. It's so beautiful, soft and sweet and pink. And then this layout here by Melissa is just stunning. Her cherry blossom pictures and those gold butterflies, oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. Yanea created a really cool rainbow watercolor wash too, but she used the butterfly frames in white above it. And I think it's such a gorgeous look. I can't wait to try something like this. And then here, Kay created a really cool purple background with some water splatters on it with those beautiful sparkly butterflies. This card by Letitia is so gorgeous. It's clean and simple and so beautiful with those sequins. And here, this tone-on-tone white look with then the sparkle cardstock by Audrey is just stunning. I love how Lynette combined the Happy Mother's Day line border with that cute little butterfly. This is so cute and a great mass-producible card. And then here is the card by Audrey that inspired us to make ours today. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with these layered butterflies, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!